Napakatagal ng kalaban ng gobyerno ang Abu Sayyaf. Ano-ano ba ang dahilan kung bakit hindi pa rin sila napupuksa? Kasama natin ngayon sa studio si Jose Custodio, defense consultant at isang military historian. Magandang umaga po, Ginoong Custodio.
Well, good morning. Magandang umaga, Hawi, and magandang umaga, Philippines.
Okay, bago natin pag-usapan yung Abu Sayyaf, ang reaction mo lang dito sa yung hindi na tuloy na pulong ni Pangulong Obama at ni Pangulong Duterte, magkakaroon ba yan ng epekto sa relasyon ng dalawang bansa?
Well, basically, ang tingin ko naman dito, both the staffs of the two countries will be working overtime and with sleepless nights and trying to iron out whatever is going on between our two countries. Tingin ko naman basically na tuloy pa rin naman ang mga ginagawang mga programa between the two countries. There has been no substantial shift naman in the two countries. So far, we can expect that engagements between the U.S. and the Philippines, lalo na sa security sector, may continue into the near future.
Okay.
As long as it's kept within this level of discourse, kumbaga.
Gaano ka-importante ba sa relasyon ng dalawang bansa yung personal na relasyon o interaction ng dalawang leader katulad nila?
Well, kung makita natin naman si Obama sa mga sinabi niya kahapon, you could see naman that he was taking it in a humorous manner naman, yung pagkasabi niya colorful and so on and so forth, So that being said, there is also an attempt to ratchet down, or to yung de-emphasize, de-escalate whatever can happen between the two countries. Both sides are doing that. So even though meron naman exchanges na nangyari, they are still doing as much as possible steps to de-escalate things. So even though there will be personal comments, like I said, things are in place to keep it still from going out of bounds.
Kasi tumutulong din naman ang Amerika sa pagsugpo ng terorismo sa Pilipinas.
Exactly.
They've been active in Mindanao, for example, for quite some time. At tumutulong din sila dito sa gera laban sa Abu Sayyaf din.
Well, Abu Sayyaf, and then of course you have, kasi meron tayong operations on terrorism, on counter-terrorism, which the U.S. is a major provider of assistance to the armed forces of the Philippines. At the same time also, meron din tayong mga security engagements with the U.S. Na pagdating sa mga problems in the West Philippine Sea area. So, madami ang...
Okay, kung sakaling mabawasan yan, dahil dito sa tensyon sa pagitan ng dalawang pangulo, anong malaking bagay ba yon dito para sa ating militar? Kung mabawasan nga yung assistance nila, kunyari, tuloy-tuloy itong alitan o tensyon sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa.
Well, so far I would just call it yung bang, hindi pa man alitan per se, because like I said, aside from these comments, wala pa tayo nakikita from the US side ng mga statements na tatanggalin nila yun. So we cannot but there will be an effect definitely kapag nagkaroon ng ng mga pagbabawas ng assistance, lalo na kasi syempre alam naman natin na the AFP has many fronts to engage in. Meron silang internal security operations, at the same time may external threats na rin. Kaya karamihan ng ating mga resources, because one thing that we have to realize here is that the AFP, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, is not on a peacetime footing. Hindi yan that's why minsan nagtataka yung ibang tao, ang budget natin pareho sa budget ng Vietnam or others. Bakit sila modern ng weapons? But tayo hindi. Kasi the basic difference is that the AFP is on a wartime footing. Make daily operations, like for example, right now, the largest ever concentration of AFP troops is in the Sulu archipelago, running after the 400, 500 strong Abu Sayyaf. Around 7,000, that is already more than a division. A division-sized, division plus yun kumbaga. So that talks about, you're talking about costs, money, lahat yan So when you conduct operations, you conduct. So that's why laging nangangailangan ng pondo. So assistance, military assistance is important.
And under a state of lawlessness or lawless violence, gagamitin pa yung militar para sa police work. So dagdag pa yun na trabaho.
Exactly.
On top of all of these other things.
Yeah, so that's why you have, that falls under the internal security operations, no? Ambit, no? Which is already given, no? Ang gagawin dyan basically is to increase the presence, no? That's why you have the checkpoints and so on and so forth. Because one thing funny about Mindanao, if you can use the term funny, is the fact that when you go along Mindanao, you will find one checkpoint, AFP, then another checkpoint which happens to be a rebel force, which then shows that there are certain parts of the Philippine Republic that are not within the control of the Philippine government itself. No?
Okay, gusto kong tanongin yung sinabi ni PNP Chief Bato de la Rosa na maaring may sabwatan yung Abu Sayyaf at yung mga drug lord, no? Kaugnay nitong pagsabog sa Davao City. Nangyari na ba ito sa nakaraan?
Well, basically kasi in terms of incidents in Mindanao, no? There's always kidnapping and so on and so forth. There's always a relationship between the various private armed groups in Mindanao and terrorist elements, no? And so actually sometimes if you look at it, no, the Abu Sayyaf itself has degenerated from a outrightly fundamentalist organization to one that is engaged in a cottage industry of
kidnap
for ransom, which then it uses to strengthen its presence in its domain, which is from Zamboanga all the way to the Sulu Archipelago, no? Kasi na parang hinahawakan nila yung mga communities in that area because diba poverty and so on and so forth. Now that being said, no, in order to establish that, no, marami silang networks with criminal groups and so on and so forth. So parang kidnap minsan sila. Minsan yung group na magkikidnap will pass it on. Eventually, it ends up with the So same thing also in conducting operations. No?
Kapag may silang ka-network.
May silang ka-network. So for example, it's possible that the one who bombed the Davao is not really an ASG member. No? It's another private armed group. No?
Pwedeng kinontrata talaga.
Kinontrata ng Abu Sayyaf. Yan. Because remember, the Abu Sayyaf is faced with a massive military offensive. So the important thing is to divert government attention.
At may pera din sila, no? Dahil dito sa mga ransom nga. Okay, 60mm mortar ang yung theory na ginamit doon sa improvised explosive device, no? Is that significant? Yung 60mm, yun din daw ang ginamit sa mga nakaraang pagbomba, halimbawa yung sa Ecoland, no? Yung Ecoland terminal noong nakaraang taon. Does that mean na maaring iisang grupo lang yung nasa likod nitong mga pagbomba?
No, because actually, remember that Marwan had been in Mindanao for almost 10 years, engaging also in the cottage industry of bombing.
Ito yung Malaysian terrorist na bomb expert na namatay na.
So many people went under his tutelage. So it's difficult to say that yung gumawa ng bomba na yan is only one group. No? There may be already a number of skilled bomb makers. No? And many of them don't even have to be terrorists. No? They can be extortionists. Just remember, sa Mindanao, may pagpapasabog ng IED sa bus terminal, di ba? Kasi extortion
Oh, so this kind of bomb, yung gawa sa 60mm na IED, is it a relatively sophisticated kind of bomb na kailangan pa na si Marwan pa yung nagturo dyan, you needed a foreign expert na magturo na gumawa niyan?
Well, basically, it's easy for them to adapt the basic technology there in their realm. So because I think naman that it was easy for them to replicate that, no, wherever. So the thing that is important here is the fact na yung ongoing operation sa Mindanao, no, sa Sulu, might have been the trigger. What is important? What is the trigger? That is what we have to consider here. What is the trigger that caused the bombing in Davao, no? Kasi doon dapat mag-invest ng effort ang government agencies and sa security and defense sector to see kung sino ang nagbomba talaga, no? Ano ang object, ano yung nag-trigger nito, no? Was it the Mindanao operations in Sulu and Archipelago, or was it these other threats? Because if you make a mistake in addressing sino ba talaga nagbomba, then you will divert your resources to something that did not really cause it.
Okay.
Which it's a big problem.
Alright, speaking of which, yung itong pagdedeklara ng state of national emergency, anong reaction nyo dyan?
Lawlessness. State of lawlessness or state
Well,
of
there was a statement, well, it's may description na we are under a state of lawlessness, pero yung pamagat ng yung statement mismo ay nagaling sa Malacanang, yung it's a state of national emergency.
Well, I would not comment on that yet. No? But basically, I would just refer to Secretary Lorenzana's assessments on statement on what the actual area that the state of lawlessness would be concerned, which is areas and parts of Mindanao. No? If we look at that, and so far it's still in that area. No? Some of the statements that are emanating would still need to be clarified. Kaya nga sabi kanina ni Executive Secretary na they are drawing up the guidelines and they're disabusing notions from speculations from people, no, that this might lead to this and that, no. But that being said, I would go to Lorenzana's clarifications of what exactly is covered by this.
Okay, at nabanggit nga ni Executive Secretary Medialdea na by lunchtime daw, lalabas na raw yung guidelines itong state of national emergency. Kaya aabangan natin yan. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Jose Custodio, Defense Consultant at Military Historian.
Thank you very much.